You forgot all about Sebastian. What if he only had one claw? Sorry about that. What's up, everybody? Eric here, Tabletop Haven, coming at you with my kind of first-ish, after a play for Final Girl. Not sure exactly what I'm going to call this after one-ish plays, because realistically, this is after 3 plays of Final Girl. So, up front, I was never planning on getting Final Girl at all. I was not exactly not interested. I am a solo gamer, and I mean, I play other things other than solo games, but I do like solo gaming. And when this came out as solo only, that's fine, cool. I'm all about that. But then I started doing a little research. I'm like, I don't know. And then I kind of picked it up because I got it on the cheap, and that's kind of the way I operate. And so here we go. Final Girl after one-ish plays. To be exact, 3 plays. 2 of them arguably were wrong. So take that into account. But anyway, I'll explain what I did wrong. I'll explain what I did right, and how things shook out. Okay, so first of all, I played Camp Happy Trails, which is apparently the starting go-to. Here you go. And I looked at this, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I looked at that, and I'm like, why on earth would you ever play in hard mode? I heard this game was insanely hard, and blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's all good. So it's fine. So I got into it. I played the first scenario, Camp Happy Trails, with Lori. I did it randomly. I would just shuffle up, close my eyes, pick, see what happens. I got Lori, played against Hans. So I'll explain what I did wrong the first and second game, because actually I won the first game, and I'm not going to say it's by cheating. I'm going to say it's by luck. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. No, but why I think I won the first game is in the very first, you set up items. Let me go here. You set up your item decks, and in the cabins, on top, right from the get-go, was the axe. Now the axe, it gives you 2 extra damage. Anytime you hit, it does 2 extra damage. That's bonkers. And it seems, going forward, that seems to be bonkers. I'm still kind of standing behind that. But regardless, what I did, and I'm not sure if it made the game easier or harder, but this is the I forget what it's called, murder track, whatever, we'll call it the murder track for now. But every time a victim dies, this goes up, and then once you hit the top, once a victim dies, you trigger this top ability. Well, it was my understanding that this was active all the time. So I played through the first scenario. Whenever Hans recovered, discard the next terror card. So there are multiple cards I ran into where he did gain health, and I used that. The way it shook out and the way that things kind of bounced and things like that, he didn't ever reach the top, so I didn't ever have to fail in doing this. I will explain how I failed in the next one. I did Carnival of Blood. In the next game, I'll explain the shenanigans that took place in that game. But anyway, so yeah. So I ended up winning the first game. I think because of the axe, it just does bonkers damage. And I was able to. I don't want to say it wasn't close, but I was able to juggle things properly. Where maybe I only had 1 health left, but I think I had I want to say I had 3 or 4 health, or 2 or 3 health, which I thought was good. And yeah, there was no last stand. We flipped him over. He was just dead. So I had that going for me. So that was my first go at the game. I won. I was like, whoa, okay, crazy. All right, next up, I ran Carnival of Blood. Now, Carnival of Blood, I did the same thing, went random, and I ended up getting this gal first. What's her name? I'm gonna be Asami. So Asami was cool. This game started out pretty bonkers as well, because what happened was the first event that came, I had 3 people in the Forest of Horrors, and the event card that killed everyone in the Forest of Horrors and put 4 people in the Big Top came out. So I started the game 3 up on Geppetto's track. Boom, boom, boom. Already hit there, like, before the game even started. And then I had a bunch of people in the Big Top. But what that allowed me to do is I was able to save 4 people real fast and unlock her ability, which was cool because you're immune to trap items. And the item traps, the item things came out, and there was, on top of 2 of the decks were traps. So I was like, I'm not even going to go there. What's the point of even going there? Because I have to trigger the traps. And so I was just going to ignore them. But then she popped up, and that was cool. So then I was able to kind of manipulate the search decks a little bit more. But here is where I messed up big time. So, how I understood when I first kind of read through things is that when you get to the top of the murder track, you re-trigger this top column. So, event cards. So, I had at one point like just a massacre. There was like 6 victims that got killed. So I pulled like 6 event cards, thinking, "Oh, I just triggered that instead of discarding 6 terror cards." And like it was just insane because the first event that came up after the Forest of Horrors things, like this event here, was the werewolf, which I thought was flippin' awesome. I think that was a really cool mechanism. If you don't know, werewolf comes out and he just kind of runs around the board, killing things or dealing damage to things, and you can kind of manipulate him, but not really, because he goes off the panic track, and so. But looking at that card and how I read it is the werewolf can't be killed. I don't know if that means it can't be killed by me, but I read it as cannot be killed. So I did not have the werewolf, if he was in a spot with Geppetto or the puppets, I did not have him killed. I'm not sure it happened in the second game or the first game I played of this. But regardless, I was running around, crazy time, and I brought it down to. I put the critical attack into my deck, or which one was it? The big attack. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Furious Strike? Nope. Critical Blow. So I had this all set up, ready to go, and essentially what it boils down to is all I needed to do, I think I may have had I had something in my hand that all I needed to do was hit 2 successes. I also had 1 or 2 close calls and a boatload of cards that I could have, 3 or 4 was rolled. I could have easily used 2 cards to get a success. Well, regardless, inevitably, I roll a blank, I re-roll, I roll a blank, and I probably roll again and roll blank. And so I ultimately got him down to 1 health, and then ended up dying to puppets. But I played the game way wrong because there was just crazy stuff all over. All the events had gone. I went through the entire event deck, and I was like, I'm out of events. I don't know what to do anymore. So, not exactly like a great representation of the game because I played it crazy, but it was crazy fun. But it was a little bit wild. Then I played through again with the correct rules. This time I played with Charlie. 7 health. She's a beast. And again, this time I played it right. So discarding terror cards whenever someone is killed. So I had the exact same card happen, that popped up with placing 4 new victims on the board in a certain place and blah blah blah. And immediately after that came the trap card. And the bladed trap card just instantly killed everyone. So it shot me to the top of the thing. And then I had the bullwhip, because I feel like weapons in this game are clutch. Like getting that extra 1 or 2 damage, like even 1, but having the 2 damage was nutty with the axe, but having like an extra 1 damage whenever you hit, I think is pretty awesome and pretty key to the game so far. I'm only 3 plays in, and 2 of them were arguably not played right, but it seems really good. The other thing that seems real good is... Did I pass it? No. This bad boy right here. Retaliate, I think, is probably the most clutch card in the game. Again, after 1-ish plays. So this is me reviewing, this is me talking after maybe out of my, ear hole, because I've only played it 3 times and maybe only 1 time right. But Retaliate, man, it's awesome. Ignore all damage, deal 2 back. That happened, I think 2 times in the first game I played. So I ignored all damage and dealt 4 damage back with the axe. That's 8 total damage that I'm dealing. That's bonkers. And then you hit a critical and it's 5 more damage, and I mean, Hans has 12 health, but that's the way it goes. But anyway, so Geppetto, in that game that I feel like was played properly, everything done correctly, I thought I was done for. But the cool thing is you can manipulate the puppets to an extent, because the puppets can only travel to... He has little puppets that he gets to play with, and they run around the board, and they can only be up to 2 spaces away from him. So if Geppetto's at the big top, then they can only be 2 spaces away. It's a bad example because big top's like 2 spaces from anything. But for example, in my game, he was over here, and I was over here, and so his puppets couldn't reach me because it was 1, 2, 3 spaces away. So they could only get to 2 spaces away, even though they could move 3. And the way it works is minions move first, then him. So on the final turn, what would ended up being the final turn, and it would have been regardless, is he was 3 away, they were 2 away, he was moving 3, so they were only able to move 2, not get to me. Then he moved 3 to me, I had Retaliate in my hand, so I used that, and then I had stacked up an attack, and I had planned for, if he did have the final, I forget what it's called, but there's the final life token that if you flip, it can possibly give him health. So I had my hand set up like, okay, I had a weak attack, and I had like critical, or not the critical attack, but like the Furious Strike or whatever. So like, okay, if I knock him out and he comes back with health, I can hit him again and hopefully kill him, if that's the situation. If I hadn't done that, I would have been dead for sure. Like, it wasn't even a question. Well, the best laid plans, again, dice rolling, and I don't think I can't say I'm the worst, but probably top 5. Like, it was real bad. So anyway, I ended up, he had 1 health, so I ended up like squeaking out a weak strike after 2 rerolls, like blanks. I finally got a 2 card, and I had to sacrifice all the cards, or like the only last 2 cards in my hand, including the extra attack I had, to do 1 damage to him. And so I didn't have another attack if he had come back, but he didn't, and so that was the final help, and so I won, and so that's cool. So theoretically, I feel like the mistake I made in the first game did not affect... I don't think he got to the top of his track in the first game, so I'm counting the first game as a win. Counting the middle game as a loss, and I think it would have been a loss either way. Although, if I had won on the one... regardless. My takeaways. It's fun. It's fun. I like sitting down. I like playing. I like the manipulation. I have those 2 boxes, and then I have Inkinyamba, which I have not played yet. I think I liked Geppetto better, I think, because there's more stuff going on, but I only played through the camp once, so maybe playing through it again with another girl, and kind of seeing what happens, is because of different events are going to happen. Um, I think it's good. I think it's fun. I found myself coming back to it. That's a big deal when you play a game and get through it and you're like, oh, that's pretty good, and then it kind of just filters off for a little bit and you don't kind of get to it. Then what do you do? But this one I found myself coming back to, and I want to do this, and I found myself thinking I can get the last two for $14 at my local game shop. It's like, it's $28. Like, I'm really considering it. And Final Girl, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was not anti this game, but I was pretty like, ugh, I don't even really wanna. I don't think I'm gonna like it. I don't think I want to try it. And so maybe, and that's another thing, like, expectations can also affect things. So maybe my low expectations, the fact that, yeah, I'm having fun, this is cool, maybe there's a factor of that where it's slightly better than had I been, whoa, yeah, I'm so excited for this, and then I got it and I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good, and I might have, but the fact that I was so low on it and then played it and enjoyed it, and I'm coming back to it, I feel like it puts it in a pretty good spot. Again, this is after my one-ish play, we're gonna call it. But yeah, I think it is a solid, fun solo game. It doesn't take too long. I've been able to kind of, unfortunately, I have children, and so I'm playing it sometimes over the course of the day. Sometimes it's broken up. What I'd really like to do, sit down, throw some like cool music on. I've heard like the Scream soundtrack is pretty solid, but I don't know. But just throwing some creepy horror music, some kind of like, if I'm in the carnival, some creepy horror carnival music. If I'm in the forest, some creepy woods thing, like that kind of thing. I think would be really cool. Little ambiance going on, and I think it would escalate it even more. But the game itself, I really think it's good. I really think the like card manipulation and when to use things and where to use them, and I have mild concern that, like I said, Retaliate. I don't want to say OP, but I'm a little concerned it might be too cheap. But again, there's always this bad boy here, which you can go to and give yourself a more challenge, which is going to give you more difficulty manipulating this track. It's going to give you less time every round. So if I find myself it being too easy for me, I can always do that. And honestly, I thought I was never going to touch this. I was like, why would you even include this in the box? So the fact that I'm even like contemplating and thinking about it is a good thing. I think. I think it's a good thing. I don't know. But yeah. So after one-ish plays, Final Girl, I don't think I'm gonna do rating quite. Do I do rate? I don't know. I don't like ratings. I mean, I do rate my games, but like at this point, especially after one-ish play, I don't. Maybe when I come back to it, when I do the follow-up video on after, when I get a true feel for the game, then I can give a rating on it. It's still really hard for me to rate games, to be honest. But like initial gut reaction, I'm like throwing it out at an 8. We'll just say that out of 10, scale out of 10, not out of 100. That'd be a little bit low. So yeah, I guess like an 8 out of 10 right now is where I'm at it with it, which is a lot higher than I thought I would be, because I was thinking I'd come in at like a 6 or so, like just kind of. But I like the manipulation. I like the card manipulation. I like the board manipulation. I like your health as a resource. I like all those things in the game, and I think it's fun, and that's a big thing for me. I think fun in games is, I'm finding myself more and more wanting to have fun when I'm playing games, and this one hits it for me. It's fun. It's fun to play, and so yeah, there you go. That is my Final Girl. Sorry, after one-ish plays. Points. I gotta give out points, right? What the heck am I doing if I'm not giving you points? It's a 20-minute video. I thought this was gonna be like a 5-minute video. What is going on with my life? Um, 17 points. 17 points. There we go. That is a total of Lori's 5, Asami's 5, and Charlie's 7 hit points. 17 hit points. Those are the characters I played. There we go. I just made that up on the spot. That was pretty good. It seems like calculated. It wasn't calculated. I just made it up as I was looking at them. But anyway, 17 points. I love y'all. Keep on keeping on out there. Have fun gaming. It's a great time out there. Later. Bye.